Why is it, do you think, that teams who cannot keep up with the Black Bears feel like it's okay to try to hurt the Black Bears, actually injure players? Why do you think they do that?
Well, probably because in past seasons, when you look at people who have beaten the Black Bears, like Port Huron, who did it, twice last year, they were the only team to beat us twice in the last season and in the regular. It's one of those things where if you are the kind of person who studies games and you see that, well, you don't have the players that can out talent the team that's coming in, but that because we don't have really big guys on our team. We got,
Right.
Dan Stone, he's tall. Ramakers has the build, Weber has the build, but they're not out there throwing hits. They're out there playing hockey. They're being a defensive man. They're covering the blue line. They're protecting their goalie. They're doing their job. And when you have teams like Port Huron or Danbury, where they have these huge guys, even if you look at the Rock Lobsters, they have several guys on their team that are just massive.
Yeah.
And, they're there because they need that, because they don't have a ton of people like Binghamton does that, everybody on our team can score. Everybody on our team can assist. Everybody on our team can essentially play forward and defense, in my opinion. Like they can do it all.
Yeah.
And Brant has been able to build such a great team and, so well-rounded that when you're against a team that is struggling, they know the only thing that they can do is go out there and beat us, literally. Not on the scoreboard, because that hasn't happened that much. So it's just one of those things where, well, if we can't win, we're just going to try to take you out of the game and, maybe better our chances if we take some of your guys out, or if we hurt somebody, or if we hit you into the boards enough, maybe you'll play worse.
Yeah. Yeah. The only three people that haven't scored on our team yet is Jesse Anderson. He's got 4 assists. Chicho Latham, who's got an assist, and Bernardo, who just joined the team. Obviously, I don't know how long Bernardo is going to be with the Black Bears through the whatever is going on with Desmarais, but he obviously doesn't have a goal either, right? Kirkby and Tim Kim, who's on loan right now in the SPHL, they both have 3 goals themselves. Zach Sirota doesn't have a goal. So pretty much 4 of the guys on this team haven't scored, because this team is so prolific from all different parts of the ice, they can just score. And that's why you get a 3-0 lead like that. And then, of course, as you're saying, you're expecting them to come out in the second period and start getting kind of crazy for it.
Yeah, and that's it's as soon as, if you're up 1 goal, you don't really think about it. You're up 2 goals, you're like, oh, it might start.
Yeah.
But when you're up 3 goals and, they're, especially because the second period, there was, a lot of back and forth. They were trying to lay some big hits, but there wasn't a lot of control with the puck. Like it was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
And, there wasn't a lot of scoring happening in the second period. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not going to get too crazy.
I did watch the 3:03 mark of the first period where Jackson Lurgo basically speared. It looked like to me when I rewatched it, it was a spear on Austin Thompson right in the nads. And there was no call. I mean, and as I was telling you, as I was rewatching it, because we were rewatching it before we started recording, he literally did it and the referee's staring at it. It's like, and you make no call. How do you not make a call on that? The referees are supposed to be there to protect the players. And apparently if you let something like that go, you're going to let something else go, or you're going, and it just kind of spirals out of place like that. And it's just, again, I just did not like the way Danbury played these 2 games. I thought they were dirty, and I thought they were going after they were headhunting, right? I think somebody mentioned that to me this weekend. I don't know if it was you or somebody else. They were headhunting. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think I said that. I don't know if it was in Friday nights. I think it was in Saturday's game. Yeah. Because there was, quite a few big hits against players who, it's known that they've been previously injured, and, they were slamming these guys into the boards.
Yeah.
And, our guys, they might have tried to have a hit here or there, but they weren't going out there to try to slam their guys into the boards or
injure
trying
them.
to. Right. They weren't doing that. They took the hits right on the chin and they kept playing hockey. It was like they were unaffected. If they got slammed into the wall and went to the ice, they immediately got back up and they either went to the bench because they needed to sit for a minute or they got right back into it.
Yeah.
And they just went back to playing hockey, which, in my opinion, is just going to hurt Danbury more in the end because what you're going out there to do, you're still not being effective at because we're just going to continue to play hockey
and win.
And we're going to continue to score on your guys because you're too busy having your guys shove us into the wall that you're not protecting your goaltender and you're letting him get scored on.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes even if you're pushing a guy to the perimeter, but one of our guys gets it back out into the middle, it's now 4-on-4. There's more available ice. And guess what happens? The Black Bears will score. All right.